My name is Chef Akram Cherif from the city of Bizerta in North Tunisia. I have the great pleasure today to cook for you a very easy and healthy recipe linked to the Mediterranean diet, pasta with low-caloric vegetables. Here are the ingredients: eggplant, tomatoes, zucchini, onion, cheese, pasta, poultry broth, olive oil, laurel, black pepper, salt, minced garlic, and garlic cloves. Let's start. We put the olive oil, we add the onion, and the garlic, onion is highly low caloric, only 30 calories per 100 grams. Then we add the eggplant. The zucchini together. Them together for about 3 or 4 minutes. And we smell all the flavors. The eggplant is also low caloric, is 35 calories, and the zucchini is even lower with 19. All the vegetables here are really very, very healthy and low caloric. My only trick is you can take the water from the pasta and you add it to the mixture of the sauce. Not too much, only 3 or 4.
Shirvan Nunen. I am an organic farmer and a plant-based chef who focus on our environment and biodiversity. I am from Mediterranean region of Turkey. In our cuisine, we used to cook nutritious and delicious food with affordable ingredients, mostly with plants. Today I will cook a plant-based dish with eggplant. We call it baş kavurma. Actually, you can serve this dish as a hot dish, or you can store this dish 2-3 days in your fridge and serve next to your food as a meze or as a cold dish. Very simple to make. To cook this dish, you need some simple ingredients like 1 glass of sunflower oil, half glass of olive oil, onion and garlic, salt, pepper, pepper paste, tomato I just picked from our farm, eggplant and pepper. The shape for this dish, eggplant, we just shorten the stem first and then remove the leaves. Then remove the skin like this. In this way. Then cut in pieces like this. The shape has to be exactly like this. And we fry eggplant and the pepper as a golden brown color. After I pre-cooked eggplant and pepper, I got a saute pan, put half small glass of olive oil, red pepper paste, garlic and onion, and I'm sweetening it. And I add tomato, half teaspoon of salt and pepper. And we'll cook 3 minutes. I put the eggplants in another pan and then my sauce is ready. I will put my sauce into eggplants and I will cook around 6-7 minutes. Our Mediterranean eggplant baş kavurma dish is ready. Actually, we serve this dish with this kind of plates because it's kinda a meze. Afiyet olsun.
What a privilege it is to be here today, sharing with you all at today's 2021 Agrobiodiversity Congress. We're discussing agrobiodiversity, and it wouldn't be complete without bringing expert scientists to the table, together with chefs who sit between the food that's produced and the food we eat. My name's Paul Newnham. I'm the director of the SDG2 Advocacy Hub and the coordinator of the Chefs Manifesto. This year, 2021, has been declared by the UN as the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables. And it's really important to shed some light on how vegetables, particularly things like eggplants, play an important role in creating some of the most delicious Mediterranean dishes, but also how they affect our food system. Currently, the world relies on 4 main crops for 60% of their calories. And so championing the consumption of a diverse diet is crucial to not only help people's health, but also our planet's health. And so I'm so excited today to have some renowned chefs joining us. We've got Chef Cristina Bowerman. We've got Chef Secil van Nunen. We've also got Chef Akram, who will also be joining us. And we've got them together with Dr. Fabrice de Clerck. And we're going to discuss the importance of eating a diverse diet, as well as championing vegetables that don't always get the spotlight. So let's start the conversation. Chef Cristina, what makes eggplants so desirable by so many Mediterranean countries across the years?
Well, thank you so much, Paul, for inviting me to this important meeting, because we talk about food, but more than anything else, we really talk about Mediterranean diet and one of the queen of ingredients. I cannot think of a Mediterranean diet. I cannot think about Italian cuisine, Turkish cuisine, without Greek cuisine, without mentioning eggplant. Eggplant is one of those ingredients that you find very easily. They are cheap, they are seasonal, and they are so versatile that you can use it really any way you want it. If you think about one of the most important recipes that you find in Italy is the Parmigiana. The Parmigiana is basically eggplant. In reality, it used to be like the poor people vegetable, but the pasta alla norma is the same thing. Poor people vegetable, but it is one of the main ingredients in our diet. It is also one of my favorites. One of the things that I did with my recipe is to try to make people understand that eggplant is so versatile that it can be used in like very simple recipes, but also you can make it complex, but not complex in a difficult way, complex in the sense of flavor. It's deep, it's long. You can treat it really anywhere you want it. You can think about of eggplant steaks, for instance, instead of meat, like it has a different flavor, but the texture can really be the result, with some techniques, it can really be associated with the same texture that you have whenever you eat meat. In this particular case, I decided to do 3 ways. So you basically smoke it, you ferment it, and you saute it and reduce it in puree. And I can guarantee you that the depth of flavor, and you can add as many spices as you want, but I try to be really basic, because I think it's important that people understand that cooking is not that complicated. You can do it at your home. You can really use it, seasonal vegetable, and make it part of your diet, and protect at the same time one of the most important ingredients in our culture. You see, as time goes by, as very difficult it becomes to transport vegetables from one place to another on the market, it is very common that people decide to switch to other vegetables that are not indigenous to our country. And instead, I think it is very important that every single country protects and promotes whatever vegetable is indigenous. And eggplant is definitely one of those. I'm one of those very open people. So I am really open to other ingredients coming from other countries. But for instance, we had an invasion of the so-called Japanese eggplants. They are like very elongated and so on. But we have, for instance, the Perlina eggplant from Sicily, which are very similar, and they are indigenous. So my push in this particular case, my claim is, let's not get eggplants from another country. Let's get other ingredients that we don't have from other countries, but at least we can try to really make sure that our indigenous eggplants survive and are part of our daily diet.
Absolutely. Fabrice, tell us a little bit about the nutrient content of eggplants. Are eggplants a thing we should be eating a lot of? Are they good for us?
For us, it is very, sorry.
They're certainly not bad for us once you would eat. They're certainly not bad for us. There's certainly, I think, really interesting attributes of eggplant. Cristina mentioned one of them, right? It has that texture, that mouthfeel that resembles meat. So for those people who are trying to transition away, it gives you that satiety, that feeling of fullness, and that texture that's often a bit denser than many other vegetables. So I think it's a really nice physical attribute. In terms of nutritional value, 1% protein, so a good source of protein, 25 calories per 100 milligrams. Particularly rich in vitamin 3, the vitamin Bs, the 3 vitamin Bs, B5, B6, and B9, which is folate. And then a great source of manganese as well, 11% of your daily recommended value of manganese. And what I like about what the 3 chefs did, I think is an additional nutritional boost that we don't talk enough about, is they all cooked skin on. And I think the chefs also recognize, once you cut this, what happens to the flesh? It starts to get brown. And that's because that flesh is an antioxidant. It's what stops the oxidation. And those are critical pieces of nutrition that we don't talk enough about. So the skin on, the antioxidants are also a really nice way to get additional nutrition that we often, I think, undervalue.
Yeah, wow. So
and I think I want to add something.
Yeah, go for it.
I would like to say something. Like, for instance, one of the things that people say about eggplants all the time, especially kids, because they find ourselves with a different flavor, sometimes a little bit bitter. And the reason, and I think that you can confirm it, it's solanine. So basically it is bitter. The way that we get rid of that is really through draining, thanks to salt. That's why, for instance, my great grandmother used to cut it in slices, put some salt, put a weight on it so that all the juice would come out and all the solanine, the bitter flavor goes away. And I think that is one of the way that we treated 20 years, 30 years, 50 years ago, and we still do that right now. But it is very important to teach our kids to learn how to love eggplants.
Yeah, absolutely. Cecile, in Turkey, you use lots of eggplants. Can you explain a little bit about what you cooked to the viewers?
Yes, of course. Hi, Paul, and hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is a very important conversation. So in Turkey, whole summer, we used to grow eggplants. And in this case, it's the cheaper vegetables and easy to access for most of the budgets. As Fabrice says, that eggplants contains lots of fibers, vitamins, and antioxidants on top of it. And it's a low-calorie vegetables, and it's nutritious. My dish needs only 4 ingredients, and it's easy to make it, and it's delicious. So it is also zero waste focused dish because we can serve this dish as a hot dish, rice next to it, like a main course. Or we can store the leftover 2-3 more days, and then we can serve next to the other dish as a cold meze dish, and we keep eating it. That's why I choose this dish, because it's really focused on the zero waste. Actually, the key point is the longer it waits, the better it tastes. Why? Because we cook this dish with olive oil, which is we use a lot in our diet. So it is 100% plant-based dish, zero waste focus, and a climate friendly.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure very tasty.
Exactly. And it's really, when you store in the fridge, after 1 day, the taste completely different, and it's more joy.
Wow.
I love the more joy. I think my favorite eggplant dish is Imam Bayildi, right? Which I think means the monk wept. And
yes,
I weep when I eat it as well, because it is more joy.
This is exactly Imam Bayildi, but without meat. This is the olive oil version.
Ah, perfect. And I love you also had thought about the holistic, how you reuse it and all those kinds of things. I think this is really important for our food is how we can make it stretch, how we can make it, use the whole vegetable. For Fabrice, how do eggplants impact our food system in terms of growing and cultivating? Is this something that is a good thing to be growing? Obviously it tastes great, but is this something that's a good part of our system?
Sure. So how you grow it's going to be important, right? But like most of fruits and vegetables, and while this is from the culinary point of view vegetable, botanically it's a fruit. It's actually a berry. But you're going to get, much lower impact in terms of climate, in terms of land, maybe not as much on water. So it is, in the nightshade family, tomato family. So it does like hot environments in water. So where you source your water, how you reuse water, and how you minimize use water, drip irrigation are great solutions here. But from an environmental point of view, certainly nothing to raise as a major concern. And I think bringing it into regenerative practices can even improve environmental performance. One thing that that Christine mentioned, that Cecile mentioned, I'm sorry, was the food waste part. And we do have a vegetable here that is pretty shelf stable, if you will, right? I mean, when you have the whole fruit, you can transport it relatively well. It's not like lettuce or other products that need expensive packaging or that need refrigeration as they get transported. So very nice from a reducing food waste and loss point of view because of that stability, which again comes from that beautiful purple skin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chefs, just, is there any unexpected or unknown benefits of cooking with eggplants? Like, why should we use more eggplants? Like, tell us what are your thoughts?
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Well, I grew up with eggplants. I remember perfectly whenever we'll come back from school, my mother and my aunt making like eggplants in olive oil. So I would smell, for instance, the vinegar and the lemon, like as I will walk up the home, will walk back from home. Sorry. I think that eggplant is so versatile. They can be used. I've done it as a ragu.
Yeah.
You cut it like in cubes and you use it as if it were meat. It has zero waste, as you mentioned and stressed earlier. So you can use really anything. And one of my favorite feature of eggplant is that you can really use it as an appetizer, as a salad, as a second course, or as a main course, but also as a dessert. One of the desserts that I put on the menu this summer, like a month ago, was eggplant and chocolate. Eggplant and chocolate seems that it is like a very antique Neapolitan naan recipe, and it is very famous in Italy to match these two ingredients together. So I revisited because I wanted to kind of like offer to my clients. And one of the things that surprised me is that a lot of people didn't even know it existed. But if you study all the Italian recipes, you find eggplant and chocolate. So it is so versatile that really can use it anywhere you want it, either red or white, doesn't matter. And it's still delicious, and it has a long shelf life, like you stressed a little bit earlier.
Wow, thank you. And I think Chef Akram's going to join us, so we'll ask him a little bit about his dish when he comes in. But I think, this shelf life is something I've learned about. Like it's just something I haven't thought about, I suppose. But the shelf life of the vegetable, it obviously is something that you're looking at with freshness, but it is really interesting in terms of then how that travels and what other impacts happen in travel, because traveling food around, obviously has that impact. And so that's really interesting. Chef Akram, great to see you here. We're just having a conversation about our dishes, and I'd love if you can just share a little bit about the dish that you've created and the cultural, historical aspect of that dish.
So Tunisia is the second most, after Italy, the country where we consume the pasta. And since Tunisia is near Italy in the North Africa, we adopted a lot of kind of pasta, spaghetti, especially the spaghetti. And we are now one big producer all over the world. And always the families and especially the children, they like pasta tomato. I can tell you that even in my family, we eat pasta more or less 3-4 times a week. The recipe that I proposed, it's the particularity of this recipe. So it's with the kind of vegetable that we don't eat too much in Tunisia, like eggplant. I know that in Turkey and even in Italy, they consume more eggplant, zucchini, tomato, okay, onion, and garlic. These vegetables are very low caloric, so it's very good. And the preparation, it's so easy to prepare. Even in the evening, in 15-20 minutes, we can have it. And the children, and this is the most important, they really like it. Because it's with all the aubergine and zucchini, it brings a kind of sweetness. For children, they really like. And it's a kind to make them adopt, can say this kind of pasta, and we can sometimes, even if they have children, we can add some chicken also or turkey, and to bring more proteins. But at itself, it's vegetables pasta, and even for vegan and so on, they can consume it. It's very easy to prepare. I always also use the poultry broth, so we can even make your own, or even if at home you can use, this knorr or something like this, and easy recipe, very healthy, low caloric, and the children like it really so much. I tested it before on my children, and after I saw that in all the family and in my surrounding, even in the restaurant, when we can prepare, and when children, I propose it, they taste it, they really, and the next week I will be in Sfax. I know it's another kind. I will be in Sfax because we have the week of taste. This is a very important city in Tunisia, and I am going to French school, I teach French, to show the people, to the children between 11 and 15 years old, the benefits, and I will propose them also the pasta with vegetables. So this recipe that I proposed it for you, and I film it for you.
Well, thanks, Chef Akram. No, it's absolutely great. And Fabrice, any reflections on that?
No, I think, yeah, something the kids will eat is certainly a critically important point, right? I mean, we're talking about dietary shifts, both as a means of securing, reduced climate impacts as well as healthy diets. We're not going to get there if we can't provide something that kids are going to find healthy, sustainable, and delicious. So Akram's point on delicious is a really important element.
No, and especially I know that for the Mediterranean diet, and as Tunisian, we are in the heart of the Mediterranean. And the Mediterranean diet is so important because we are discovering now that all the vegetables that we have in our region are really so healthy. They preserve against cancer, they preserve against a lot of disease. And I think that even the science is we have to focus even more for the benefits of all the kinds of plant and vegetables and fruits and fishes and all the oligo elements that we have in our region. I think after Amazon, and Amazon is maybe the Mediterranean also, and if we follow, and I as a chef, I am really focusing in all the traditional dishes, and we can now imagine how our grandparents didn't used to go to doctors. We know now because they had a kind of diet in their life, what they eat, how they eat, that if we will focus on and we study it scientifically, I think that we can bring a lot of solution to nowadays.
Thank you. Thanks, Chef. And thank you to all of you for these amazing dishes. And I think it's great to think about the Mediterranean and just how the surrounding lands around an ocean connect, and then how trade and all of these elements culturally connect people around these ingredients. So please make sure you check out these ingredients. Try cooking with some eggplant. I think you're going to be hungry when you watch this, but try pulling out some eggplants and seeing what you can create. We all need to really eat more fruits and vegetables, and eggplant is a great one to include in your diet. So thank you, everyone.